The primary issue in this session, I think, is I didn't trade enough. I could have traded more. I could have just bid down on these low volume nodes, and the returns might be a bit different. I don't want an equity curve of you know what looks like five trades. We have this big liquidity pocket at 39, and I take the breakout up to 39.75, up to VPOC, presumably. 44, 39.75, 64, 39.75 on the ask. Value sits higher, buyers pile on at 40 even. 39.75. I bid long here. And then price rallies on an LE. So 40.25, I get out for two ticks, which is good. I got in on reversion on the absence of liquidity 39.75. I take a short here at 42 even. The value area high drop off is 42.50. Short 41.50. I put my stop at 42 even. That's an incorrect stop. It should be behind the auction. And then I also fat finger another short instead of a long to close the trade because I was short. So I stacked size and ended up scratching for two ticks at break even. So negative $50 total, including the two trades. Well, it moved the bid ask, so one was a break even and one was 12.50. price rallied. So this trade first, the problem with this was the adding instead of the closing. Second, the stop is too poor. The 154 at 42.50 on the bid was a good enough reason to get short, especially because there's an auction right there, meaning there's illiquidity. If flow normalized, it would most likely cause price to revert, which is what happened. The primary trigger for entry was the 154 on the bid at 42.50 and the 2 on the bid at 42.75, indicating that buyers were absorbed. And then price moved unidirectionally down from 42 to 39.75. And then I went for a long there, saw in a liquid pull up, and got out at the other end of the Schelling point. That was the primary problematic trade, was the ad. I did that all morning because when I went to go scratch a trade, and typically most of them were short, I would press the sell button instead of the buy button and double down on the size and frantically try to scratch. I flip short again, Schelling point 42, short at 41.75. And the issue with this trade is um, there's a heavy auction at 42. 18 is absorbed on the bid, 42.25. Standard reversion trade, normalized flow. The issue with this trade is that it was closed too early. There was still tremendous pressure up until 39.75 when the size increases and even that absorption is short-lived. There's another unidirectional move down to 39, which is outside of the value area. So the second problematic trade had closed too early. And I closed that simply because we had got past VPOC and I had put too much size on. I added to that one again instead of closing. 39 is a long on the same auction. I was stalking a reversion trade. It didn't pan out. I put my stop below the absorption that just happened. Now the absorption fills out, it fails. I bid 39, 38.75. The bid ask begins to thicken up heavily. The auction is shifting lower. And then tape pukes the indicator for, but on the plus side, I didn't stack the trade. The indicator to get out there was 38.75, the auction shifting lower, and tape not lifting into 39.25, the bid ask. That's what I mean by tape. And then I flipped long again, playing the return pull back at 39.25 after that auction shows up and then tape dries up. Timestamp 4:36 on the second video. $10.50. So I'm just watching for the bid ask to continue to remain above 39.50 and buyers and sellers to pile in respectively, but tape dries up at 39.75 and 40 even. The bid ask comes down and then 95 is absorbed 39.50 on the bid, which leads me to get out for break even. Right before tape jumps and Ellie happens, liquidity event, people get liquidated on the buy side, and I miss a trade here, and then I can trade against those buyers who were caught offside at the Schelling point of the value area low distribution. Price plunges 6 ticks in the opposite direction after those people forcibly get out, and that's the session. By then it's 9:30, and it ends there.